by Lucifer Best of All. Sunday school is a place for fools. It's hot in hell, but the devil's cool. Don't keep Satan waiting. Don't keep Satan waiting. So don't just sit there, join the club. Sell your soul to Beelzebub.
Hello, fellow bright nights and monsters. By Count Jack and Satanic Streamer, here again for another Satanic Stream, our post Halloween stream here with Danny Nightmare of the Horror Addicts. I'm sure y'all remember them. Oh man, how has it been going, Danny?
Well, it was really going steady on the channel until about Friday the 13th last September, and I just haven't had any videos up until Halloween.
Oh, well, yeah, that'll happen. You know, shit like that happens. You know, I remember I did that more than once. Where it was like, hey, where are all your October videos? And like, no, one video. We're doing one. Look at Halloween 2 to all one. Which is why I don't have this thing on my wall. You know, oh, you don't put that video on my thing, you suck. I hate you and all of your Russian psyop bot having asses. Fucking sick of it. Anyway, I see vampires talking to this. All you can see Captain Bison and the rest. I wonder why Vampires Talking didn't show up in the little chat in the stream. Well, I just fixed that. Oh man. So, how is your Halloween video?
I was happy with it.
What was it on? What was it about? I haven't had time to check it out.
Review for Halloween 4.
Oh, I actually really love Halloween 4 of Daniel Harris. Little baby Daniel Harris, who is little Jamie, makes her first appearance there. That was a fantastic entry into the series. I'm just sad that, like, Halloween 5 did not fulfill the promise of Halloween 4.
5 was a mess in its own, and then when we finally got 6, it's like, what was the point of all that?
Yeah, it was 6 was bad. Like, when people are like, you know, what do you think is the worst franchise? And I'm like, well, I don't think any of them are completely useless. But like, you want to tell me the one that broke my heart, where I was like, God damn it, definitely. Can't hear me over the music. What? Oh, you're right. You're right. There we go. That's better. It's supposed to tell me, this damn thing's supposed to tell me everything, but I guess it just decides it just doesn't want to.
You on mute, so I didn't hear the music. I just heard you
No.
talking to me.
I've got, no, hold on. There we go. There we go. Now it's easier to tell what's going on. Oh, man. Come back from Halloween. Everything just fell apart, you know, like, oh, the technology. Oh, man. So I got to ask, what is your favorite of all the Halloween movies, canon or not?
Canon or not?
Canon or not?
I mean, the original's probably one of the best for a lot of reasons, obviously. But it still has a lot of flaws that people like glance over, just giving it a pass because it is the original. Like it's probably one of my favorite stories because there really isn't much to it, which is just because they made an easy movie.
Yeah, yeah. They concentrated on the suspense.
Yeah, and
You know.
I like not having any answers really. Like this guy's just kind of a psycho. I don't know where he learned to drive, even though he's been locked up since a child. And yeah, I just like that he kills randomly. So I do like the first one the best for a lot of the obvious reasons, but it is not without its own flaws. Like some of those death scenes should have been reshot when they're like dying cross-eyed. Making it's just like it's not a perfect
little
movie.
goofy.
I love it. But... So I mean, 2, they did like I guess to compete with Friday the 13th. They started having more creative kills and some gore, and I like that. I like that they do. I feel like the deaths are a lot better. Just but but then they added some story that was kind of weird, like in the longest Halloween night of all time, if you because they both take place on Halloween. The
Yeah.
sun should be up by now.
Well, that's kind of how I felt about the redos. You know, it
Mhm.
was like because the first two movies happened on the same night, and you're just like,
Exactly.
"Jay, this is going on forever."
Mhm.
You know, I thought that they were going to do the same thing for the third movie, and then when it was like, okay, no, this is 5 years later, I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, probably should.
Maybe there should have been somewhere a healthy in between. Like the second one's just right after, and maybe that's not the best way to go. But then 5 years later, also kind of a weird choice.
Yeah, that also did feel like a weird choice, you know. But I have to say, for me, my favorite probably was Season of the Witch,
Oh,
Part
well,
3.
there you go. It's definitely the less like problematic and it's a standalone movie.
Yeah. One of the reasons I really like it. Well, it's also like just how to put it. It's the most 80s of all the Halloween movies made in the 80s.
And
You
Tom
know.
Atkins is such a force.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Yeah. Shut it off.
I'll star in your movie. I get laid and I get to have a lot of beer, right? All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Surprisingly enough, that was one of the few ones he did without a mustache.
Mhm.
He had shaved it off for that role, you know, which I was like, oh, he's trying to prove that he is more than a mustache.
Still
Well,
rocking that 5 o'clock shadow like no tomorrow though. So
yeah, exactly. But like that's why he's a bit more powerful in Night of the Creeps. He's got the mustache,
mhm.
you know.
Thrill me.
Thrill me, you know.
It was just like contemplating suicide right before that phone rang, and he just still picks it up like without a beat. Thrill me. Like
Thrill
that's
me, you know. Tell me something. Oh man, it's so fun. So what else? So did you do? Well, besides the video, what did you do this Halloween season?
Oh, well, October was just exhausting in general. That's the reason why I didn't get a lot of videos up. I went to two different AEW shows, but
Oh,
right before those shows happened, my car died. Like there was,
ooh,
it's not that it wasn't had oil in it, but for some reason, two of the pistons were not getting oil. And so I just,
oh no,
and
ooh,
so I found a way to like through friends, family, and bus made it to one of them that way. And then my grandpa helped me acquire a new car, which I'm going to be paying off for a long time, but he helped me get it.
yeah.
Otherwise, I probably
Well,
would.
yeah. I hope it's not. You know, is it a new one or is it like used?
2011. That's the newest thing I've ever owned. So car wise.
Yeah, true. Like the Jackula mobile, the Count, the PT Cruiser. Like I've had that thing for longer than I was doing videos. It still runs. I still managed to keep it running.
My
I
last, the one that died was a PT Cruiser. It was a purple PT Cruiser that we kind of had looking like a little mini hearse. So
oh man, I always want. I need a purple. I keep thinking of like getting body work done on it, but there are other things that need to be fixed on the car. Not the least of which is the fucking remote. Like I really should replace that remote, but not just the fob, but the actual system itself, because holy shit, it does not work reliably. And I looked into it, and I'm like, well, it's probably because the actual like remote device, not the fob, but like the fucking thing that picks up the signal, is
yeah.
is fucking up. And I'm like, well, how do you fix it? And they're like, oh, you just replace it. And I'm like, oh, great. How do I do that? Well, you buy a new unit and then you disassemble the entire fucking dash so you can put it in. And I'm like, I'm not looking forward to disassembling that dash.
No disassemble.
No disassemble, Stephanie.
Stephanie, no disassemble.
Oh my god. Hey, Flashman. Hey, Perry. Hey, Alexander Leslie. What is up? Hey, Perry. And yeah, I saw a movie like after all the kids had like gone home. I like watched a movie which was Carved, which is about a killer pumpkin. It's on Hulu. I recommend it. It's dumb as shit. You know, it's a movie that's like, all right, what's this movie about? It's about a killer pumpkin. It's like, is it a like a scarecrow? No, it's a killer pumpkin. What do you mean it's a killer pumpkin? Like it gets on vines, walks around, and then kills people with a knife. Which I thought was that was the real creme de la creme. The fact that it still kills people with a knife. I'm like, you could have just done the vine thing where it strangles people to death. No, not good enough. It has to have a knife.
What was that movie called? It had the killer Christmas tree.
Treevenge.
Well, that just had a bunch of trees, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It did.
No, there's one where it's specifically the soul of a serial killer or this rich guy. He's evil. He gets his soul put into an actual Christmas tree.
Holy shit. I don't think I've seen this.
It was not as good as I wanted it to be because they did a lot of bad CGI kills.
Oh, yeah. The Killer Pumpkin movie is mostly practical. It's mostly practical effects. So it looks really good. You can tell that you can tell there's green screening.
Yeah.
You know, like there's some where it's like, yeah, we green screened this bit in. But like, as far as like the actual like stunts, it's mostly practical. You know, it's mostly practical and forced perspective and things like that, which was really cool. You know, the pumpkin itself is obviously a combination of a puppet and CGI, depending on like what it needs to do in the shot. You know, but the kill is almost always like practical, which I thought was a really good choice. You know, because it kept it looking the right amount of hokey.
Exactly. I prefer bad practical than to subpar CGI any day.
Yeah. If you could do like perfect CGI, that is the best, but that's really hard. Mm-hmm. Like that's you're setting yourself up for like an uphill battle, you know? So if you're just like, no, it's just a stupid Killer Pumpkin movie, you know, then yeah, just go practical and like have like a blood hose, you know?
Exactly. I mean, you know that it's a Killer Pumpkin movie, therefore it doesn't have the budget to give me like perfect CGI. So
right. It's not like, all right, this Halloween. Oh God, who's a big star right now? Ryan Gosling is Scarecrow, you know, like, you know, it's not something like that.
But Chris Pratt, he's voicing everything these days.
Yeah, actually, a guy who shows up in a lot of horror movies that I'm always really happy when he shows up, even though he seems like he should be a much bigger star than to just be in a lot of low budget horror movies. Michael Shannon.
Yeah.
Michael Shannon shows up in a lot of low budget horror films, like just because. I forget, there was this one that he was in like a couple of years back that was all about a guy. It was really obviously a COVID movie. It was about a guy whose house was haunted and he's getting advice on what to do from people on YouTube. And one of the people he's in contact with is a guy played by Michael Shannon. I think it was called something like Dark is the Night or something like that. If I saw the movie again, I would recognize it instantly, but I can't remember the title of it because it had a little bit of a generic title.
Yeah, Dark as the Night could be anything. So.
Yeah. I do remember that it was on Netflix. Yeah, it was a Netflix joint. Yeah, Killer Pumpkin movie about a killer pumpkin kills people. It's called Carved. It's on Hulu. It's dumb as shit. I don't know if it's as good as Thanksgiving, but it is funnier.
Thanksgiving, the
Eli Roth one.
Eli Roth one?
Yeah, the Eli Roth Thanksgiving movie.
I enjoyed that.
White meat, dark meat. All will be carved. We're not talking about Deadstream. I actually really like Deadstream. Deadstream was great. Have you seen Deadstream?
Yeah. I saw Deadstream. It was great. Found footage?
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah. It's one of those like found footage guys live streaming it, and he's just like the biggest idiot. He
also, the same guy that did that, he did one of the segments for not the last VHS that just came out like very recently, but the year before that, and that was one of the better segments in that one as well.
Yeah, the one where the two guys go to hell and run into Mabel the Skullbiter, who is also in Deadstream.
That was awesome.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. I was actually really surprised that I haven't seen that actress in more stuff since. You know, because she seems like an actress that you would really want to be like, you know, in your crazy monster movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was VHS 99. That's right, because it was like, oh, the ritual takes place on the millennium. You know, like,
yeah,
yeah. I didn't like VHS Beyond as much as I did 99.
Is that one that just dropped? I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, that was the one that just dropped. Like overall, like, let me put it this way: the high points are just as high.
Yeah,
but everything else is just kind of mid. You know, it has 2 high points and then a lot of mid. You know, which was too bad. Still worth watching. And still a lot of fun. But like, you're definitely like, yeah, I feel like this isn't as good as the previous 2. You know,
they were in the 90s and then the 80s before that. So yeah, those ones were good.
Yeah, Beyond was all science fiction, and there's one amazing science fiction one that they did.
And I mean, even if you told me it was hot garbage, I would still watch it because I've seen every other one. So
yeah, it's not complete. It's not, nothing in it is hot garbage. You know, it's just one of those, like, we go from like 2 entries that have like no, you know, everything's great. Everything is like doing really well. And this one just has more mid.
Yeah.
You know, some where you're just sort of like, that's all right. You know, one that's, they could have like, the one that I really liked, but didn't quite get across. It fit the theme, but you had to like look at it sideways a little bit. I think it was the dog one. There's one about dogs that like, you're like, wait, all the others are about space. Oh, this one's mad science. Oh, okay. But it's like, if they had used more of the mad science, like bric-a-brac, like a couple Tesla coils somewhere in the background would have made all the difference. That's what I'm saying. And then everyone would have been like, oh yeah, science fiction, you know, like.
Not your favorite VHS entry, but like your favorite short story within any of the VHS movies.
Oh, the favorite anything in VHS? Oh, yeah. That's a toss-up between I Like You and Mabel the Skullbiter. Like, those are my 2 absolute favorites, you know?
Yeah, I would have to say, because like I said, Deadstream, like, that was so good, so it was cool that they had that. But yeah, so far, my favorite is I Like You. Like, they started at the very top, and they've come close a few times, but nothing has surpassed that. That is the first one that you get in the first one.
Well, yeah, it's the one that sets everything up, right? Oh yeah, VHS Viral's bad. Yeah. That's the one entry that is like, whoa, this is,
everything was mid.
Yeah, everything was mid or lower, you know. Even like, yeah, see, some of the others that I really liked but weren't as quite my favorites. Of course, there was Safe Havens, which is about the cult in the Philippines. That one's amazing. That one's fantastic. Yeah, Safe Havens was in VHS 2. Another one that I really loved was Kids vs. Aliens, which is also in VHS 2. It's the last one, and they made a full movie out of that. You know, by Jason Eisenberg, I think. The guy who did Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah. I also liked Hail Ratma. the sewer guy. Like, it was so weird.
Oh yeah, that was just a lot of fun. Hail Ratma, 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 Ratma. You know.
Loved it.
I just like everything with I like most things with a goofy monster, you know.
Yes. It's like what would really happen to Master Splinter if he was mutated in the sewer. That's just what you'd really do,
you get something like that, you know. Oh god, it's horrible. Oh man. So how is Hork the other how is the young one doing? He should be in high school at this point, right?
Oh, he's graduated.
He's graduated.
He's 20.
Oh,
He just turned 20 last
oh,
month.
I'm old. Is he still did he move out or is he still in the
No, he
house?
still lives with us. He's working on getting set up in college and whatnot. So
Oh my God. What happened? He was just yesterday he was 7.
yeah, when he loved being on the show.
Yeah.
He's like, what mask do I get to wear? And what do you want me to do? That used to be his attitude towards it. And then he got older. He became a teenager and he was like,
this is all lame. This all fucking sucks, man.
his friends would come over and see that we're watching horror movies in the living room, and they'd be like, "Oh, cool, let's watch horror movies with them." And we're like, "Yeah, come on, sit down." He'd be like, "No, let's go into my room and play some video games or something." But they not like horror movies are lame, basically.
Lame, man. It's no good, man. Yeah.
His friends were like, "I wish our parents were into horror movies," but it just made him more not.
Ain't that always the way? It reminds me a little bit. There was this comedy troupe called The State. And they had this sketch, which was Doug, the teenager who has no real problems. And like he would invite his friends over and he'd be like, geez, Dad, you're so embarrassing. And he's like, are you asking me to give up my biker career and quit the Hells Angels, Doug? Like, what are you asking? Come on, guys, we're out of here. Actually, Doug, I think we're going to hang out with your dad.
Yeah, that would actually happen a few times.
Yeah.
Our kid was such an old man. He was like, oh, he's always been like, he loves to go to bed early, like all that stuff. That's just how he is. Very sensible when it comes to that stuff. He doesn't like loud noises. He never has.
Oh, geez.
So he'd usually pass out pretty early, and then his friends would poke their heads out and be like, "Still watching horror movies?" Yeah. And then come sit on the couch and watch horror movies.
What do you got? Oh, children, this one's called The Church.
Right.
You know, it's got a scene of a demon raping a woman. It's a classic. Click. There's Linda Blair. Yeah, click. Oh man.
Oh, it's holidays. We got everything from Black Christmas to Jack Frost. What do you want?
Oh. I like Jack Frost 2 more than I should. I gotta admit.
Antifreeze so he can be in the tropics.
Yeah, it's like I'm now immune to antifreeze, but now I have a banana allergy. What the shit?
Banana, right?
What the shit? I could not.
Some banana daiquiris.
Yeah, I was like, nope, that's it. That's it. Movie just peaked. There's no. It's all downhill from here, baby. That's why when fucking Horror Guru did his review of Jack Frost 2, when we get to the banana allergy bit, like the review just ends. Because we were like, dude, there is nothing we can do to make that better. Like, this is just it. Review's already 15 minutes. This is kind of here. Oh my god. Holy crap. Oh man, I was actually really surprised. One of the things I thought was really weird is that all the Halloween movies that came out in theaters were also Christmas movies. Did you notice that? Like Terrifier 3 was also a Christmas movie.
I thought that was a little weird. I went and saw it in the theater, and I'm like, it feels weird watching a Christmas movie, and it's not even Halloween yet.
Mm-hmm. I was like, it's a good movie, but like,
why? And I'm so happy that it was #1 in the box office. Like,
oh yeah,
limited theaters for part 2, and like if you go back just to the All Hallows Eve like anthologies, that like they were made on no budget basically. So
yeah. And well, one of the things I thought was really weird was that a bunch of people were claiming that like, oh, Art the Clown's an industry plant. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, Art the Clown's been around for like, first of all, he's been around for 10 years. Just because you just noticed him now.
Right.
You know, like just because he got legitimately popular. Like that was a sleeper hit. All of his previous 2 films were sleeper hits.
Yeah.
You know, there was no advertising, nothing. It was just all like, dude, you gotta see this movie.
It's like I said, he was in these anthology films, and I think they were just like, hey, well, that one's the best thing by far, so make a full movie of that. And then everybody ended up liking Terrifier. Like it had a cult following, but it was still a small indie film that, didn't get a lot of press. But within the horror community, we all kind of enjoyed it. And then the second one, they're like, all right, we got enough buzz. We could get it into some theaters, limited, but hey, that's still better than nothing.
Yeah, better than nothing, you know.
And then bam, number in the box office, part 3.
Yeah. Yeah, like, yeah, I was actually really shocked. You know, I thought, yeah, I didn't think it was going to do that well. Like, and it ended up doing really well. You know, yeah, Art the Clown, he was fucking great. I haven't. It's interesting. Like, I think about all the other attempts there were at making like an iconic slasher, you know, and I could definitely see why Art the Clown has been the first like iconic slasher we've had since like Ghostface, you know, but I'm always curious as to what the secret sauce is. You know, like what's the 11 herbs and spices of making a real iconic slasher? And part of it seems to be, one part of it is definitely a solid gimmick that you can really build on, you know, because we got two silent slashers, which are Jason and Michael, you know, so you can't just do that anymore. You can't just be a silent slasher. We have two of them. You got Freddy. Freddy's got dreams. You got Chucky. He's a doll. It's a foul-mouthed doll, you know, foul-mouthed misogynist doll.
Yeah. I mean, they both have wit and charismatic, like, as fuck, so that's why they both work. If you're gonna have your character talk, they better have, like, be able to back it up.
Yeah. Even though Ghostface is a different character every time, you still got the voice actor who does the Ghostface voice, quote unquote.
Exactly.
You know, and then you have Art the Clown. Who would have thought mime? It's just, no, black and white mime. That's it. That's what he is. He has a fucked up face. He's kind of a fucked up face. And he just runs around in that like cartoon, like Mr. Clown outfit from like the black and white era.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say anything. He makes no noise. You know, he just mimes and does crazy stuff. And even when he laughs, he makes no noise. You know, you're like, that shouldn't work, but it did.
A lot of it is just David Howard Thornton just being so expressive, like, because they had a different guy, Mike something, that was in the All Hallows Eve, and the character was like, it was interesting. They had something there. But once David took over, it was just like, oh, damn, this has star power to it.
Yeah. He gave it a real presence. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everyone loves Art the Clown now, you know, like that it took a good like 5-8 years for him to really gain steam, but like, you know, now he's just like, it's like he's part of the family, so to speak.
Took a while of people being like, hey, you got to see this, because like I said, it was, it had a cult following in the horror community. The first one was like a hit with us, but we had to eventually kind of coax other people into like looking at it. And then a lot of even the mainstream now, they're like, oh, this is pretty rad. So it just took a while.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't like an instant hit like Elm Street. Mm. Elm Street was one of those ones I would think that was a hit right out of the gate.
Yeah.
You know, which is actually a little bit unusual because most of the others, while they made money and had a cultural impact, they weren't like bona fide hits. Like Halloween famously underperformed. Friday the 13th only succeeded because it was dirt ass cheap. You know?
But even like it didn't become an iconic thing until even his hockey mask, and that's the third entry.
Yeah. That was the third movie was when he really picked up steam. You know, to the point where they were like, well, we'll do the fourth movie and that'll be it. I mean, it wasn't, but that was the idea.
The final chapter.
Yeah, the final chapter. And then, God, what did they call 5?
New Beginning.
New Beginning. Yeah, New Beginning, where they were like, well, what if we made Jason a different character each time? And they were sort of like, okay, that didn't work. And I found myself going like, well, it didn't work because no one knew who the fuck that guy was by the end of the movie. They pull off the mask, you're like, who is that?
It's Roy, the EMT. Remember, he came to get the kid's body in the beginning.
Yeah. It was the exact same way I felt in Scream 3 when they revealed it was the director. And I was like, who?
Right?
Who was that? I don't remember.
Turns out he's Sydney's like half brother. Don't care.
Don't care. Don't care. You know, like, you know, I actually feel like it would have been better if the movie had just acknowledged the fact that he was a non-character the entire time by having someone go like, who are you?
Yeah, that probably would have been a better ending. I mean, we already had Jay and Silent Bob in there, so why take it so seriously at the end?
Yeah. We could have just gone like, you? God, I'm the director of the movie. You are? I thought Wes Craven was directing this. No, it was me. And then he would have been like, okay, that would have been great. You know,
would have also just been great if it was Wes Craven.
Yeah. That also would have been awesome. It's like, no, it's just me. I've been killing you the whole time. You know.
I mean, that's the movie that we got Ghost Mom in. So
yeah.
It was a quick rewrite though, because they were originally going to go with Matthew Lillard. They even had to buy him out of his contract because they were going to have him be the head of the Ghostface. He was going to have these teenagers doing it from him while he was in prison, like communicating with him through letters and stuff. So that's why he'd like.
Why didn't they do that?
Columbine happened, and they didn't want a bunch of teenage killers like for that reason. So they had to buy him out of his contract and just.
It's not like they shot. It's not like in the Scream movie they were going to shoot up a school.
No, but they didn't want that, I guess. They wanted to distance as way from it as possible. And so they just bought him out and made another script right off, like real quick. And you can tell it's one of the reasons why it's the way it is.
Oh, jeez. No, that would have been way better to have it turn out be Stu and just be like, wait, that guy's still alive. You have the audience go like, wait, that guy's still alive? You know?
There's so many people that want him to come back for these movies and like maybe one day. But I mean, some people have, I don't know. They're like, I think the last movie tried to tell us that he was dead by killing somebody with a TV again on their head. But I mean, people have survived way worse in that franchise alone, let alone horror movies. So I mean,
yeah, exactly. And also, it's not like Matthew Lillard ain't around. Like, he's around. He's still working. He's still doing stuff. You could probably get him to show up. Probably wouldn't be that hard, you know.
I'm sure he would like to get another leading role. So even if
just be like, yeah. Even if it was like a leading role that wasn't, like, even if it was just like you just got him for a couple of days and he's just there, like, kind of like fucking Silence of the Lambs style, you know.
He was talking about it. I met him once at Seattle Crypticon, and he was doing like his whole thing where he's talking about a lot of his life and stuff. And Scooby-Doo, since he was getting leading role money, like for the Scooby-Doo movies, he got a big house. He got like really expensive cars, but then he realized that he was gonna have to make some changes and like get a smaller house and get some less expensive cars, or for a quick fix, be part of celebrity boxing. But he knew that would like, even though it would give him money right now in his pocket, it would like kill his career. So he's like, no, I'll just have to step away from leading role lifestyle to just actor who makes good money. Like,
yeah, exactly. Because you don't really, if you're buying a garage full of classic cars, you know, like, you probably have more money than you need. You know, like, I could see being like, I got one or two classic cars. I'm, you know, like, all right. But getting more than that, yeah, you don't need that money, you know.
But he's like, yeah, leading roles, they're not guaranteed. So you learn
No,
that as like don't live like that's always gonna be there. Like,
no. The guy who played the original Willard,
mhm.
um, people don't realize he's been in a movie almost every year since Willard, but he has never been a lead.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't recognize him in X-Men. A lot of people didn't recognize him in Lords of Salem, or Suitable Flesh, or any of the other dozens upon dozens of films he has been in. Because after he did Willard, of which he was the star, he wasn't sure what to do, and another older actor said, "Look, kid, I'll tell you something really important. Leading men come and go. Just look. Guys who star in movies come and go. Just look around you. But a good character actor always works.
Oh yeah.
Always
And
work. Yeah, Bruce Dern. Yeah, like he always has work. So if you always want to have work, you'll become a character actor. And he did.
it's like a Bucket of Blood, Dick Miller. That's like his only
Yeah.
really starring role, but he's such a good character actor that he went on for so long after that. Like,
Yeah. He was in
Gremlins
everything.
and everything. Like got killed by the Terminator, got killed by this. He was just in a lot of everything because he got
Yeah,
to be a good character
we
actor.
just need Dick Miller, We just
Right.
need him to be here to do this bit, to do this part. You come on the set for a day or two, and here's $1 million.
Right.
Or probably not even $1 million, probably probably a couple $100,000. You like couple $100,000, that'll set you up for a few years, if you do it right.
Right. Exactly. Invest in some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like Danny Trejo's never starred in anything, and he's doing all right.
He's like, he can't even tell you. Like, a lot of people tell me that he was so good in this movie, and he's like, I was in that? Nice. Because he's been in so many movies, I can't remember.
Yeah, because he just shows up. You're like, here are your lines. You got it, bro.
Mind if my taco stand, like, we can do catering, right? Sure.
All right, awesome. Good tacos, man. Oh, man, those tacos are actually pretty good.
They are. I've had his tacos and burritos. They're really good.
I was actually really surprised at how cheap they were comparatively.
Yeah, when I went there, like, with some friends, I'm like, oh, cool. But I expected, like, to be really expensive. Like, I don't know. They're reasonable. Okay.
Yeah. It's like they're more expensive than like the Del Taco or whatever local taco joint you got. You'll pay like $7 a taco rather than like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But still, for what you get, you're like, only
Exactly.
$7? Damn.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So,
eating the taco equivalent of a lobster roll for $7 is like pretty awesome.
right. I recommend.
Oh yeah, I totally recommend. Haven't been to that donut shop though.
Yeah.
No idea about that. Never start Machete. Excuse me. It's like, oh, that's a good point. Yeah, he did star in 2 Machete movies.
Mhm.
But I guarantee he only got paid when he got paid as character actor for those films.
And yeah, just thankfully that the trailer did so like demanding that they make those movies because it was just going to be a trailer and that was all it was ever going to be. And then like, okay, well, the crowd seems to really want it. Let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Oh, you never had Trejo's tacos? Oh man. Well, they're kind of in the LA area. You'll recognize it because it got Danny Trejo's face as the logo.
On the beer cans too.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's stuff like that makes me wish I lived in Los Angeles, like just dumb things like that.
Yeah, I got friends that I visit, but I don't live anywhere near there, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't gotten down there in God, 4 or 5 years at this point. Like it's like there was a pandemic or something and we were in lockdown for a bit.
Yeah. Went there in 2022 and 2023. Couldn't go this year because we had to move, and now we had car problems this month. We usually go down there for horror nights, but it's been financially just not feasible this year. So hopefully next year.
Well, hey, tell you what, next time you go down there for horror nights, like if you do it this year, like let me know. Like,
All right.
let me know, and maybe we can like save on like hotel or something.
Yeah, totally.
Because I need an excuse to get out of the. I need some excuses to get out of the goddamn area. Because I got so used to just staying at home that like a friend invited me out and I didn't even respond. And I was like, why didn't I respond? And they called me and they were like, why didn't you're complaining about not going anywhere, but I invited you out somewhere and you didn't even say anything. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's kind of like that. And oh God, someone did. So I did go out last night because someone did invite me. And I'm I'm just gonna say it. I don't know what's happened to this town. I do not know what happened to San Francisco. It's like, oh come on, guys. Like, give me something. We used to have this like insane Halloween every year, and now it's just gone.
That's sad.
Yeah, yeah, super sad. Like that thing used to just used to be wall to wall people in the Castro area, like for blocks. And now a few people doing bar crawls, and it's just like, oh, come on. Really? That's it? That's all we're doing? This is lame, And I don't know what happened. And bastards, This town needs an enema.
I don't know. I mean, Halloween itself. I grew up in this small town here in the middle of Washington, but we used to tear it down as kids, going trick or treating everywhere we could, like all the way onto the middle of the night where people got mad. We'd fill up pillowcases full of that candy. We had actually about over 20 some kids, and that's like good for us this year. This new house at because there is some neighborhood kids, but still compared to what it
20,
was.
that's it? Damn. That
Yeah,
seems
that's
really
that's better
small.
than we have at our last house. Last house we would get like maybe 8 or 9,
Oh my
like around that.
God.
So we got like 25 full-size candy bars, but we ended up giving them all away. We thankfully had some spare candy because like that was sent to us because we
Oh
wanted to be
God.
the full-size bar house, but we ended up giving them all away just because this town's dead like that. They do the trunk or treats or whatever. I don't know. Kids don't want to work for it anymore. Can't their parents are gonna
Well,
spoil them with
I
candy
I
anyway.
hate, I hate trunk or treat. It's like, oh come on, guys. Like, no.
Right?
Like a kid needs give oh give him a little bit of leeway to run around the neighborhood. Like, come on.
Right? It was Halloween. It's supposed to feel dangerous. It doesn't have to necessarily be dangerous, but it's supposed to feel that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, like there was so many. I remember so many Halloweens. It was just sort of like, all right, be back before 10. Like just be like, hey, quick, now's our
Yeah,
chance to be back.
right. It was good times. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was so tired last night though because I was editing. That's why I couldn't do the stream 2 nights ago because I was editing up all night, and so I barely got any sleep. I barely got any sleep this month, to be honest. But
Yeah, yeah. I barely get any sleep these days because I'm working on this game all the time. Like, and now that I'm moving into more of the director position on the project because most of the writing's been done. And I only spend like a couple hours a day doing writing, and it's mostly edits. So now I'm like getting things from other people and having to wait. Like I'm having to wait as like stuff comes in so I can approve or not approve of it or give direction where it's needed. And as a result, I feel like I'm not doing anything most of the day. It's sort of like I'm making phone calls. Hello, printer. What estimate can you give me on a book this big? Like, well,
yeah,
what about that? What about these? Blah, blah, blah. And then having to respond to all the emails going like, so, are you ready to do that? No, we are not. Get back to me in March. Please get back to me in March. You know, but it's like there's all this really important work that needs to do, but I'm not the one crafting it.
yeah,
I have to be the director, not the person who actually creates the assets, and that's a very, very, very strange position, because it's not like being on a film set. On a film set, you feel like you're doing it if you're the director, right?
Hmm.
You know, like, do this, say this, get the line, do the line, like, make sure lighting's over here. You have a million things to all at once to fucking keep in mind, and it feels like real work. Or rather, it feels like you're doing things that are consequential, as opposed to every 3 days, make this correction. Thank you. Send. And you're like, it's still important, but you just don't feel like you're doing a lot,
Right.
But then again, I see the difference between like a creative director who is involved at that level and those that aren't. Oh boy, is it night and day, and you can feel it and you can tell, and it's like, no, I gotta be here to do the creative director part of the job, otherwise it'll all fall apart. Even though it's only me waiting around to do something for 5 minutes. It's such a strange situation to be in. It's like, hey, your job's very essential, but you're only really doing 5 hours of work in a week on that part of the job. But if you don't do it, whole thing's fucked.
Yeah.
So I try to fill my days with like other things, and I'm trying to mainly editing, even though I'm like, I think we're pretty much done, but I got to make sure all the little I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and are we capitalizing these phrases, this version, or are they all lowercase? Stupid things like that. Like I used to do that on videos all the time until I realized, I could probably put in only 80% of the work and everyone would be really happy with it.
Right.
Oh man. So how's Gory doing? I mean, I know she's sick today. Why she's not feeling well today, which is why she's not with us.
She just had too much sugar or whatever, like, probably from last night. Last night I had like 2 pumpkin beers and I was pretty much dead on my feet. I didn't really do anything. I got dressed up. That's why I'm wearing my costume again today. I want to get some use out of it. I mean, I didn't do anything really. I posted my video, sat around, watched some Halloween movies with Gory, but I think she just ain't feeling too good. So she's got a headache, like a really bad one.
Ooh.
She helped me with my makeup, so it looks even a little better than yesterday.
Nice. Nice. This Halloween I discovered foundation.
Yeah, that's important.
It is. I'm not wearing any at the moment, which is why my forehead is so glary. And like if I had put on foundation before I came on, I'd probably look a lot nicer under this light. But no, I thought I'd just be lazy and scruffy today. Especially like after yesterday, which was like, performance night for scaring children.
Right.
Give my face a rest. Like The Substance.
Oh, that was
Can't just keep putting makeup on. Otherwise you'll turn into a drooping tit monster. Hi, Kitty.
That'd be more like, I know that the movie's like showing like it's supposed to be unflattering because it's like, hey, look, we all age, but I'm just like, Demi Moore's still hot.
Well, I think it was supposed to do both. You were supposed to go like, yeah, she's older, but if she had been old to the point of not being pretty anymore, I don't think it would have worked. I think it really worked.
It's more to show how obsessed she is with trying like to please these mostly gross people. Like nobody really looks good in that movie, hardly. Like all the guys that talk to her, they're disgusting. Like, but it's like they like show like close-ups on them eating and stuff just to let you know. Like, why is she like obsessed with like pleasing them and stuff?
Yeah, even the actress who plays like the younger version of her, when she's not in the stage lights, when she's not under like the camera lights and everything, she's actually lit very normally, you know. So you're getting the opinion that like no, it's the glitz, it's the camera is adding the glamour.
Yeah.
You know, she's much younger and probably prettier as a result of that, but it's the camera that's adding the glamour.
She's like she's a younger version, I guess, but it also shows that when she was young and without her wisdom, she was kind of a gross person. Like she might have looked beautiful, but she was just kind of a selfish, gross little bitch.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Yeah, selfish, gross, self-hating, gross little bitch. You know?
And like they don't realize that they're the same person. So they're like this horrible tug of war game begins where if I was in that situation, I really don't see the appeal of it because you lay there as a husk for a week and then you don't get to even like enjoy what she's accomplished in the week that you were doing that.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like I'm not sold on doing this at all. But if I was in that situation, double down, be like, all right, I'm the new hot model. But guess what? I wouldn't say the older version of me, but that's who I'd be talking about. They're my manager, so you're gonna give them a paycheck too.
Exactly. Like what double dip like that, you know?
Yeah, like teamwork that shit. But I think that's the whole point of that movie is like we're never on the same page, and that's why they fucked themselves, like literally.
Yeah. Because if you're the kind of person who will do this, you're probably not the kind of person that can accept your older self. You know, even though the your older self has a lot of power behind it, you know, like the years can make you actually quite powerful in terms of whatever it is you've chosen to do, because you're less likely to be taken in by horse shit, you know. I remember like the best advice I've ever gotten, and even look, even though I've never been fantastically successful money wise, best advice I ever got was never sign a contract with a person if you can't believe their handshake. You know, if you can believe their handshake, you can sign a contract with them. If you don't trust their handshake, never sign a contract with them, because
genuine, and they probably aren't.
Yeah, because like that piece of paper is not going to help you if the guy's going to fuck you. It's like that thing that Wemus Burroughs said about never sign a contract with a man who believes in Jesus. You never know when the good Lord will tell him to fuck you on the deal. You know?
I love how they tell those stories about Abraham about to kill his kid for the name of God, but it's like anybody who pulls that shit now, nobody believes them. Like, God told me to kill all those people.
Yeah.
But the stories in the Bible, you believe those, right?
Right? Yeah. No, we don't. That's always such a strange story, you know. I never really understood why it was in there, because it's sort of like, well, so you're saying to just obey?
Yeah.
But then you got to trust that the thing that you're obeying has your best interest at heart, which, I don't know, maybe you can trust a God with that, but I don't think you should be trusting anybody else with that. You don't want to get in that habit.
Somebody that's especially selling you a book just so you'll be compliant to them.
Yeah, exactly, you know. Especially the American interpretation of the Bible is specifically geared towards, I don't know, a country built on slavery.
Yeah.
That is an insane part of America, that there are aspects of American culture that make no sense until you realize that its religion was the backbone of its justification for slavery. Then shit starts to make sense.
A country that was built on stolen land by people who were stolen from their land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Genesis feels the most story of the books. Yeah, it's a creation myth. You know, it's a straightforward not entirely straightforward. No creation myth is, but I mean, it's as straightforward a creation myth as any of the others. You know, no better, no worse. It makes a certain amount of sense, and you can get its symbolic and metaphorical meaning, you know, quite simply. And But even as soon as as soon as you get into like, what's that guy's name? Noah. Once you get into Noah, the Bible starts making a lot less sense until you realize that is where actual history starts to intersect with the actual mythological storytelling. The story of Noah is actually a much based on a much older story from I think it's pre-Babylonian. It might actually technically be pre-Sumerian, but don't quote me on that. I'd have to research it. It's definitely Mesopotamian, where there was one dude, a merchant king. In some stories, he is referred to as Ziusudra. And there's this huge flood. He runs to the biggest ship, puts all of his livestock on it because he's like, that has value. Yeah. Like back in those days, the livestock was the capital. And so he's like, all right, put my family and all the capital into the boat, wait out the flood, hope for the best.
Yeah.
And he does, and he lands somewhere south and, tells his story of survival, and everyone's like, damn, that's amazing. We thought everybody in that fucking area fucking died. The flood was so bad. He's like, well, few of us actually did survive. So they were like expatriates in a different country for a while. But his story was really popular because it was like, it's like, like this man survived 9/11. He was in the building but lived. Like you'd make a celebrity out of that person. Stuff. So that's what happened. And it became such a powerful story of like surviving a natural disaster that it just gets passed down. And so once the Hebrew people write the Torah, it got incorporated because they were descended from those people. Yeah, anyway, that's my like comparative religion portion of the evening.
Where, I mean, they talk about it like the virgin birth. That's in older religions. Like 2 other religions that are older than Christianity have that. So it's like,
yeah, and
a lot of that stuff just came from other things.
Oh yeah. Like the our understanding. One of the funny things that is, actually is inspired by a true story. Like in that same like kind of sarcastic way. Actually was based on a true story. It's just the story that we have is not factual at all. One of the things that gets really weird is when words change meaning, but the text doesn't change to reflect that. The concept of a virgin is a great example of this. Like virgin used to just mean an unmarried woman who didn't have children.
Yeah.
That's what it meant. Oh, she's unmarried, she doesn't have, and she doesn't have children. Okay, she's a virgin. Because whether or not they had sex was kind of assumed, but like it wasn't the primary factor. It was just sort of like, okay, you don't have kids and you're not married. All right, good enough. Or in the case of virgin blood, it just meant blood that hadn't been used in another sacrifice. Unused. Not previously used. So when they're like, it's the blood of a virgin. It was like, no, that means they killed a different goat for every instance of the ritual.
You already gave me this blood last week. I want something new, something fresh, a new cadaver must be cut.
Yes, exactly. And the idea of a child, the idea of the virgin intersects with the child of God concept, because that people were claiming virgin births forever. They were like, oh, it's a child of God, meaning, we really can't figure out who the father is. Like, to the point where, like, the girl doesn't even know. It's like, well, I was with these 7 guys one night. It's probably one of them.
At a party, I woke up, no panties. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. So you just be like, they're a child of God, and sometimes and sometimes that meant you would give them to a temple to be raised in that, because you're like, well, they don't have a father. Let's just let the priests and priestesses handle it.
Knowing those times, hell, she could have just been walking down a dirt road. Some guys probably hit her in the back of the head with a rock. You fucking know what happened.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that happened too. So you're like, do you want to take care of the child of your rapist? No, quick, give him to a temple. Like, here, you raise it. Something that was a practice that was like so strong that we still associate orphanages with with nuns.
Yeah.
Even though that's not always necessarily the case, we still associate it with like nuns.
Junior, I want that pot so clean I can see my face in it.
Yep.
This one kind of looks like you. It's got like chili stains all over.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was the first movie that made me think of nuns and kids, child or prom child. Then yeah, I started seeing all these older movies where it's like, oh, that's just a thing.
Yeah. Everyone
Princess.
just would assume that sort of thing, despite the fact that a lot of orphanages are just state run. But before there was a state to run them, there were churches and temples.
Yeah.
And they would take them because they need priests. They need priests and priestesses and officiates and things like that. Might as well start from the beginning and all that shit. So it's Maury's fault we don't have any more children of God. Get it in a way, yeah. He's part of making sure there are no more virgin births just hanging around, waiting to be called Jesus.
And those priests, they wanted them, altar boys, and orphans made good altar boys.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Got no family to tell them any stories to.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God.
Going back and watching like Oliver Twist, like that could have been so wrong, so bad. Like,
that could have gone so much worse. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's lucky that they just kind of starved him and beat him a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Like, oh God, every time someone is like, you won't believe who's a pedophile, I'm always like, yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. Like, okay, I'm like, okay, priest or politician. It's one of the two. Otherwise you wouldn't be asked, you wouldn't be saying that.
Or the Subway mascot.
Just Subway. Oh my God. That was the one I found the most. I was actually a little surprised at.
Yeah.
But
now it's like he started and ended his career trying to get into a smaller size of pants.
Yeah. And the thing was, that guy hit the pedo to the meadow when he got famous. It was like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, he was in the Sharknado movies even, like, until that happened. Obviously, they kept making those movies without him.
Yeah. But you're like, dude, you're like on top of the world. But I guess when you're on top of the world, you feel like you can get away with everything. That's part of feeling on top of the world.
Yeah.
Nasty. Yeah, bastards. How about that election? Isn't that fun? Isn't that a great feeling?
Election night, always on my birthday. My birthday is one holiday, November 3rd. Don't forget to vote. Shit. I already have voted, so.
Oh man, yeah. I'm voting. I'm voting tomorrow. I was so like, it's weird. Like, I've already made all the decisions. I just haven't taken the ballot down. So I'm just gonna do that tomorrow. Man. Oh. And then we're gonna white knuckle it and hope for the best. Vote early, vote often, kids. Oh dear. So what are you drinking? I'm drinking coffee.
Drinking the only alcohol I have in the house that's left. Some sake.
Sake. Oh.
Sake.
Oh man. Damn. I wish I had some. I don't. But I also have like diabetes, so like I probably shouldn't. Because it's
one of the worst times I was ever like hungover drunk. It was back kind of when the Wii first came out. at least pretty close to when it came out, and we got these huge bottles of sake. Like this is like 4 times
Oh
bigger,
yeah, those
giant gnarly
gigantic
ones.
fucking like kill a samurai with this bottle. Yeah.
And we got some like sushi and whatever, and we started Wii bowling, and we were like, okay, so let's make this interesting. If you get a spare, nothing happens. If you get an open frame, you do a shot of sake. If you get a strike, everyone else does a shot of sake. And we like played 2 games of that, and me and my friends were just puking like after because it's creeper. Like sake
It
feels like
is.
nothing. It doesn't feel like
is.
you're even drinking alcohol really. But I've learned to slow myself down with it because it will creep
Yeah, that's
on.
why they give
All
it
of a
to you
sudden, you're
when
just
you go to a restaurant. They give it to you in those little bottles, you know, because they're like, be careful, fucking creeps up on you.
you know,
Just like
it doesn't.
the boiler room in The Shining, you know, like
Yeah, exactly. If you're not paying attention, you're fucked. But
yeah.
kind of forget about it.
Oh yeah, it's real easy to forget about it because as long as you're just sitting down, you don't feel it. You know, the minute like your equilibrium shifts, all of a sudden, nope, you're just a sake casualty.
And then I'm just also drinking some whatever the hell, the sparkling ice.
Yeah. Yeah. Alexander Leslie's like, I miss playing with the Wii. I never had one. I never had any of the Wii's. I hadn't had a Nintendo system in a long time. God, sake and shochu. Yeah. They're creeper drinks, man. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. And they put that thing in vending machines in fucking Asian countries. They're just like, hey, you want a little something?
Get almost anything in a vending machine in Japan.
I know. Like, now it's like, it's funny. They're like, those gotcha machines are now like, have like invaded Japantown. You know, there's now a store that is nothing but gotcha machines in the Japantown Mall. And I'm just sort of like, no, I'm not. I won't. I already got enough crap. I need more selective, more expensive crap, not inexpensive crap. I got too much inexpensive crap.
They have like these apps now where you can do claw machines like from China, but you can do them on your phone. And like they'll mail you the pack, like whatever you win with them. Like, so
how? What? Doesn't that take forever and is horribly expensive?
It's I don't know, but my brother-in-law he gave me this zombie bunny plushie, and he's like, I want it in a claw machine, and he was showing me the app, and it's like, yeah, it's located in China, and it's like, see, watch me play. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Well, in Japantown, they're gotcha machines. You know, the ones, you know, you put the thing in, you turn the dial. It's like, well, those old bubblegum machines and like a little fucking plastic model for a Gundam comes out kind of thing.
Yeah, we have one of those in my retro store. Like the top one has those little plastic balls with the little things. And then we made it to the one on the bottom, like puts out like Pokemon foil cards. So kids are always like buying all the Pokemon cards.
Yeah. Oh, Flashman now works at. Oh, you got the job at the Claw Machine arcade. Nice. Are the prizes any good? You know, like, because sometimes like aliens. Yeah, like sometimes a claw machine is good because it's like, well, if I get anything, it's gonna be okay, you know. And then there are some where you're just sort of like, even the top prize is bullshit. You know? Right. It's kind of why I like the Japanese claw machines better. They tend to have better prizes. You're like, oh, all right, I'll just get like a salamander mascot guy. Woo!
I used to be really good at the claw machine at the local bowling alley. Like I made a little music video of Dave Brocky's "Too Much Stuff" song. Like too much stuff, I've got too much stuff. But I was just like made a little video of me playing the claw machine and all the crap that I was getting out of it.
What's the secret to the claw machine? I was never any good.
I'm not good at all of them. I just for some reason that one I got pretty good at, and I was always at the bowling alley, so that's probably why. Like plenty of other claw machines that I've played elsewhere where it's like, oh, I thought I would win, but I didn't.
Oh, okay. Because I'm a claw machine loser. You know, I'm like, put $5 in. All right, here we go. Wah, wah, oh. God damn it.
I mean, I guess like because some of them are like also just like how hard they clamp, and I think that they like will clamp like they have an odd setting probably where they clamp like tighter every eighth try or something like that. It's
Yeah.
probably something like kind of like how a slot machine pay off. Like they're like calibrated in a certain way.
Yeah. You give them your money and then you walk out with nothing. You know, that's how a gambling casino works.
But to keep the casino, like people coming in, some have to win sometimes. But the house always wins.
Yep. Yeah, I never win a claw machine either. You know, I never win carnival prizes. I never win claw machines. You know, I only occasionally won arcade games. You know, and I consider winning either having like high score or finishing the fucker.
Right.
You know, like you get the last Bowser at level 8 on Super Mario Brothers. You've won.
Oh, I love playing the original Super Mario's Brothers, but to the soundtrack of the original System of a Down album. Kamutu mushroom people. Like for some reason, if I don't warp, and I usually don't die, I just speed run it. Like it'll like lines up with the album perfectly. Like right when I like get to the end, it's on the last song and everything. So.
Oh my god, man! I used to fucking. I remember at a pool in my area, I realized something, that people would lose quarters in that machine and then they would shut the machine down, but the machine wasn't fucking broken. They're just 2 quarters stuck in there jamming up the whole thing. So if I got there early in the morning, stuck a fork or a file in the coin slot and just kept shaking it, eventually all those quarters would come out. Boom. And I'd have like $5 worth of quarters, plug the machine back in before it's supposed to be on, just plunk quarters in and just fucking play Mario until like, you know, the pool technically opened. You know, and like people got mad. And I'm like, why? I'm like, I'm spending all the coins. I'm still spending all the coins here.
Right.
You know?
What do they care? I mean, they're still getting the money. So.
Yeah. But it really came down to like, no, we have rules. We're not allowed to. How dare you? How dare you know how to fucking jimmy a fucking arcade machine? It's like a
clogged up. I unclogged it for you. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah, like I could leave it clogged so you can't use it. How about that? Did you guys know how to fucking fix this? Because I'm betting no, because there's still $5 worth of clogged quarters in this bitch. You know, thank you. You should thank me for fucking making you money again.
I did some maintenance work there. I think me playing the game is good payment.
yeah, letting me fucking play a couple rounds of Super Mario. I think that's more than fair. Yeah, give me some fudge sickles while you're at it with these extra quarters. Yeah, but no, they didn't like that. Or just some of the arcades in my area also didn't like me because of that. Because they were like, oh, this thing's jammed. I'm like, no, it isn't.
I don't do that.
Don't do that, man. Well, they're still they're unused quarters. They didn't even get to play.
Right.
You know, you just want them? Boom, I'll split them with you. No,
like
they're already ours.
Okay. The vending machine and they see like someone bought a bag and it's hanging there and you buy the next one, or they're like, well, you have to give that one back because you only get one. Like, no, yeah, I'm keeping both of them. Fuck that.
Fuck you. You know? Yeah, like some places were like so cheap. Like that's when I realized how stupid people were. I was like, you could let me get these quarters. I'm willing to split them with you since I barely earned them.
Yeah.
And then I'll just play the game and Dragon's Lair here can continue to suck up quarters. Right. Or you could leave it off and make no money off of it.
So, like, I guess the arcade maintenance guy shows up at the end of the month to do it for you, but how often is he showing up?
Yeah, how often does he fucking show? How often do you fucking unload? Aren't you supposed to like unload these fucking things every day anyway? Like that
I
was
think
the
most
part I
places
never
do it
got.
about every month. I think most places, but I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know a local guy here that is like his second job. He works at like an Easy Burger as a manager, but he also goes around servicing the arcade machines, which there's not very many in the area anymore. But he's the guy
Right, but I
that
mean,
does
like back in the day, like
it.
that was like you know, getting all the quarters from all the machines was like that was a good like hour of work just for one
Yeah.
room,
So
you know. But yeah, who knows? You know, it's like, don't you want to fucking make money? You don't? No? All right. Arcades are closing down because the Nintendo Entertainment System sold so well. Well, it's your own fault. I didn't want to have to deal with the fucking arcade. Come on, let's just hit start. Ba-ding, do, 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 do.
well, also arcades had the advantage that like when they started off with like better than Atari and better with Nintendo graphics.
Oh, yeah.
But it got to the point where the systems at home were way better than anything that was on the arcade, like graphics wise.
Yeah, and they were cheaper to make because you could just do a software switch. You know,
And
you didn't have to build the whole machine from scratch and, you know.
Start playing people all around the world from the comfort of your living room and stuff. So
Yep.
couldn't keep up after a while. As much as I love arcades, I even have an arcade that's free to play. It's those 1-ups that don't take quarters. We have them in my store just because it's fun and nostalgic. But I get why it went away.
Yeah,
sadly.
yeah. It made a certain amount of sense. Although, man, there was always something about going to the arcade and hearing that a new sound. You know, because you'd walk in, you knew all the regular sounds of your arcade, right? You're like, oh, okay, there's Xavius, there's Super Mario, wait, what's this? What's this new sound?
It's Rampage. Whoa, you get to play as King Kong and Godzilla and a giant wolf, and you eat people and break buildings. Yeah, man. Here's $20 a quarters. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, like, you know, or like the first time you walked into an arcade and you heard X-Men. Welcome to Die. You're like, whoa, wait, did someone just say X-Men? There's an X-Men game.
Or you hear the Simpsons music.
Or the Simpsons machine.
You get to play as Bart and kill people.
Kill people with your fucking skateboard. Wow.
Marge got a vacuum. She's still killing people. Okay. I'm down.
Yeah, and then there's the classic that no one can forget because, oh my God, that thing would never shut up, which was Killer Instinct. Blah, 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 blaster combo.
Ultra combo breaker. That was like, I loved the fighting. That was one of my favorite like peaks in the arcade was the fighting game boom where it was like, oh crap, there's one now where the giant claymation dinosaurs, Primal Rage. I was like, fuck yeah, man. I loved all those.
Yeah.
Like you said, it wouldn't shut up, but man, I loved hitting those ultra combos where you'd knock them off the cliff at the end.
Fatality.
And all that. Yes, Mortal Kombat. That's how you just. It was like Street Fighter, but better because you could kind of do a humiliation thing at the end.
Yes.
Not only did I kick your ass, but now I just turned you into I literally turned you into a baby.
Yeah. Oh God, probably the worst. Although Killer Instinct was the worst at that because that was one where you could do the move and then walk away from the machine. You know, where you're just like, that's just an insult. That's like Fists of the North Star, but like worse because you paid money. Yeah. Just, you know, oh, well, guess I'm dead now. Thanks.
Yeah,
you want to put your name in the machine? No, you just go walk away. Fuck you.
Playing against like some older guys, I had to learn how to do combo breakers real quick.
Oh, geez, I could never get the hang of it.
Like I wasn't the best at the ultra combos. I hit a few in my day, I did, but like I wasn't the best at those. But I at least got good at the combo breakers because I didn't want to be completely humiliated. You know, I'm like, I might not win this, but you ain't flawlessing me off the.
Yeah. I'm denying you the flawless. You know,
I'm gonna break some of these combos and get a few jabs in. Like,
oh geez, like yeah, my Street Fighter career was short and not good.
I would just spam Chun-Li's kicks, and I would always usually beat other humans, but I'm not good at the arcade itself, like on Street Fighter, because the computer just says nope to that spam. It just says nope,
Yeah.
Hadouken, bam, bam, bam. Like it
Well,
just doesn't care.
I
It
was
blocks
the
them
opposite.
out.
I could beat the machine, but I could not beat another player. You know,
There are a few games where that is the way for me as well, but for Street Fighter, it was that. It was like I'm not good at playing the AI, but all my friends who sometimes were better at that, they would usually lose to me. I'd pick a few different characters. Chun-Li was my cheapest if I really wanted to win, but
oh, Alexander Leslie mentioned Time Crisis.
oh, I remember
Oh,
time.
man. I had a buddy, my Vader Mike, who or Darth Mike. He was called Darth Mike. He would play Time Crisis by himself, as in he would put in tokens into both, hit two players, grab both guns, and just do that to the point where it was ridiculous. Because it's like 5 minutes, dude. You still on your original tokens? He's like, yep. Best. He's just one of those guys. He's just a crack shot with those light guns. It was disgusting. I would play like House of the Dead with him all the time. I'd be plunking in like $5. He'd be on his original 50 cents.
We have this TV that I always play movies on and stuff, but it's set up in the store. A lot of the TVs even there for sale. This one's for sale too, but it's also a big radio, but it's got a TV screen, and the screen is like about that big, right?
Right.
And like you have to radio dial it to get to it to work. But we've hooked up Mario 64 to it, like Mario Kart 64. So like that little screen split by 4, like trying to drive those cars is so insane. But I also have hooked up like Duck Hunt to it, and like it doesn't matter. Just aim the gun at it. It's such a small screen, you hit the duck every time. Like, it's just a lot of fun to mess with shit like that.
Well, reminds me of this guy who he was this game designer that I knew, and he was just a really odd guy. And he made this one game that I can't remember the actual title of, but I remember its subtitle. So it was like Kamagachamon, the game you cannot lose. You're like, all right, what is this? What is this game you cannot lose? And it was basically Pong. But the dot was so big.
Giant crack rock.
Yeah, you literally could not miss it. And I was like, I think you have a career in game design, my friend.
That was the thing for Pong, like the actual system, is the way to win is somehow get to the side, because the Pong paddle wouldn't go all the way up or down. Like there was always
Yeah.
that small spot, like in the old Pong. That's how you had to win. Like if they were that good, you just had to hit hit that edge. The Pong paddle wouldn't go up that far.
Yeah, and I was not good at Pong. I was not good at Pong. I wasn't good at Mario Tennis either. I was bad at all those. It's like, oh, eh.
I was good at Wii Tennis because I know, like, if you hit it at like this weird just angle, like you just do this with your wrist, it automatically hits it to the edge. Once again, the character doesn't go far enough to get to it, so you automatically win. So as long as I'm serving, boom, 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 boom. All right, game over. Like they're like, boo.
I win. Boo.
Same, like it's not as guaranteed, but I just noticed with the Wii boxing, it's just like I just do this, and it hits so much better than my friends who are all like trying to really throw their punches. And I'm just like, and like boom, boom, but it's just like it's more precise.
Yeah. Like I used to call that. Yeah, I used to call like doing stuff like that, winning in a way that destroys the game.
It does.
You
It
know?
does. Even we mentioned Primal Rage earlier. There were ways where it will like I could just like with using vertigo like to like beat you with you can't even do anything or block it. It's funny because the game itself would do this cheese wedge with like the forbidden sign on it. Like,
Oh
no
yeah,
cheating, I guess.
yeah.
But it didn't stop me from doing it. It just kept doing that, flashing that on the screen, letting me know that I'm breaking the game to do this. But it doesn't physically stop you.
It didn't stop you. Yeah.
It just tells your opponent that, yeah, I'm cheating, basically. Hey, I didn't design the game.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate the player. Oh my god. Yeah, James Cabral says there's a bar here that's the old arcade games and themed drinks and food. So that's pretty fun. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Oh god, Scandia. Oh god, Scandia. Do you have a Scandia up where you are? Okay, so Scandia is like kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese, but it's Viking themed.
Oh, so like, because Dave and Buster's is kind of like a adult Chuck E. Cheese, so it's like that, but just
Yeah, it's like that, but it's still for kids, and it's like
oh,
Swedish themed, Swedish Viking themed. The buildings tend to be built like castles. Like they actually took over a couple of White Castles, and there's usually a miniature golf course out front. They are experiences. I would say they are better than Chuck E. Cheese is now. Unless they've gone downhill in the last few years, because I haven't been to one in like 5 years or something.
I haven't been to a Chuck E. Cheese. I think from my friend. He's a lot younger than me. Like he was my friend's cousin, but he's like a cool death metal guy now. He's got a cool band, and he's opened up for like even a lot of like big name death metal bands. So it's pretty cool. But I remember when he turned 21, I was in my late 20s, and that was the last time I was at a Chuck E. Cheese. And like everybody just glared at us because we had no kids. Obviously, he's like, I just never been to one. I wanted to check it out. But he's like this tall guy, long ass hair. He's in a death metal band at the time. That band I believe was called 6 Days of Darkness, but he's been in like 3 different bands since then. So, but yeah, that was the last time I was one. However, Gory and Lols, they were just at Chuck E. Cheese less than a month ago, and they showed me videos and pictures, and it looks awful. It's like they don't have animatronics anymore. They just have a big TV screen that plays a video with a CGI rat on it.
Like, that's no good. Like, come on. The whole point is supposed to have those robots.
They're supposed to look free. That's the whole reason why Five Nights at Freddy's is like the way it is because we all remember going to something like that.
Yeah.
Creepy as fuck. Like on the East Coast, what they had, it was called Showbiz.
Showbiz Pizza Palace.
Your birthdays come to life. That's Showbiz. Showbiz. It's like, but it's creepy as fuck. Even the Goofy movie had like some possum thing going on like in it, but it was creepy. Like that was the whole point. They're making fun of how creepy those things are.
Yeah, they were very bizarre, but they were like really popular actually. Like kids actually loved going to them, and I think a lot of it had to do with that kind of like House of Horrors funhouse kind of atmosphere where it was a little weird and it was
like Halloween. It's supposed to feel dangerous. It doesn't actually have to be dangerous.
Yeah, but you're like there's like it's a little dark, little mysterious, you can play arcade games. Like you feel like somewhere there's like some evil spirit going, yes.
Well, if you've seen the Pinocchio Disney movie,
yeah,
they're all at a place drinking beer and smoking stogies and they get turned into donkeys. Like it's like
yeah. You kind of feel like there's something like that going on, maybe.
Rat says a kid can be a kid, but it's like there's always a catch, right? Like adults don't really want us to have fun.
Yeah. Well, like I thought John Oliver had it right when he was like, what you've done is you've made a PG-13 titty bar for children. And I was like, yes. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
Do they even have Hooters anymore? Like it feels like those are all gone.
The only Hooters that I know in my area closed down.
Yeah.
Which, thank God, because those wings are terrible.
They weren't great. They were overpriced.
No, they were not good. It's one of those things where it was like, had it been good wings and girls with tight tops on, I think you would have really had something. As it is, I just find myself going, yeah, I feel like less of a man being here, It's weird
because, like I went with a couple of times with my friends. We had one in like Spokane and we went a couple of times, but actually I had more fun going with them with my wife because on our honeymoon, actually, we went to Honolulu, and there was this haunted house because we went in October. It's the first time in October I had a sunburn, even though the weather wasn't super hot. It's just from being exposed in Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii at the time. I came back with a sunburn, but we went to this haunted house. Of course, we're gonna find a haunted house, and as soon as you get out of the haunted house, right across the street was this Hooters, Honolulu. We're like, fuck it, let's go grab a drink. So we grabbed a drink and whatever, some sort of appetizer. And I even got her a shirt that said Hooters Honolulu on it. But before that, I went a couple of times with her because our kid, yeah, he liked boobs at a very young age. He liked boobs. And we just thought it was kind of funny. But I mean, whatever.
I've had some very bad experiences at Hooters, because every once in a while I think I should like this. Because I'm a boob fan, so I'm like, yeah, I should enjoy this, and then I end up not enjoying it at all. Not the least of which is that some of the people that work there are meant to be looked at from a distance.
Yeah.
There is some people that come up and you're just like, it's fucking spooky. Like, don't do that. Like far away, you look like Christy Brinkley. Close up, you look like the Crypt Keeper. Please stop that. Don't do that.
My eyes are up here. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid.
Yeah, I've made my choice. Okay, I'm trying.
This place is called Hooters for a reason. I'm going to stare below your chin.
Trust me, I'm doing us both a favor. Oh my!
I get what you mean though. Like on paper, it sounds like really great, but I went a few times with my guy friends, and I was like, "Yeah, this feels weird." Like about it. I went with my wife or girlfriend at the time or whatever, before we were even married, and then I felt better about it. It's like, okay, yeah, we're just, we're both enjoying boobs, but I didn't feel like less of a man about it. Like,
yeah,
because it was like it's not a strip club, but it gives you that vibes that. This is the only way you're gonna see big boobs or something. I don't know. It makes you feel weird.
It's weird because in the company you come in with makes a huge amount of difference in those environments. Like I've been to strip clubs with the right people and the wrong people, and it's with the wrong people, it is horrible, and by yourself, it is depressing.
It's almost like you're creepy.
Yeah. You feel like you're being a little bit of a creeper, but like you feel even worse than that. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, like the one part there used to be this one that was really nice called the Lusty Lady. That was always okay. Because that was primarily peep shows, and you feel like just as much of a creeper, but you don't feel like ashamed of it because it's all peep shows, so you're just in your booth anyway, like that's okay. But man, going to like a regular strip club with the wrong crowd will just make you sit there and go, oh God, please.
Right.
You're repelling women. You're repelling the girls at a strip club. That's really bad. That's real bad. Like I'm tipping 5s and 10s here, guys. And like they're still avoiding this part. I'm going to walk over here. Okay, so I could salvage some dignity. Now bear in mind, I came in with 0. I came in with no dignity, but I did not expect to be losing some.
Minus dignity.
Yeah, I don't need minus dignity, like I was okay to be at 0.
Not in BC, but up in Edmonton, like in that area, the Kelowna area, like way up there north. Like there was like the Peelers, but it was like the hotel that the guy who booked me, like, cause it was pro wrestling shows, but he booked me in this hotel, which also had Peelers strip club built into the same building.
It's called Peelers?
Yeah, like I think they made like a zombie movie about it not too long ago, like about the same franchise. But it was fun, like because up in Canada, like because the dollar coins, right? They have $2 and $1 coins,
right?
And so like it's funny because after they do their whole thing, they run out there with this like magnet that looks like kind of like a little round vacuum almost, but it like picks up all the coins. It's hilarious. And what they did is they had like these promos of them, like the posters of themselves, right? They roll up the poster and put it in their cleavage, and if you could throw $1 or $2 coin in it, you got to keep the poster. It was actually like a carnival game. It was a lot of fun. But in BC, they don't have any. I have never been to a strip club that did anything like that. However, I remember one time going to a strip club with a bunch of the wrestlers after the show, and one of my wrestler friends, like, I gave him a $20 bill, and I'm like, hey, get us a pitcher, right? And like, so he grabbed a pitcher of beer and came back, and the promoter and my friend Ronnie Angel, like, who's an actor, movie maker, but also a pro wrestler. And he was sitting there with the promoter, and they're on the table next to us. We're at the front, and the guy is like, "Oh, hey, I got all this change from your 20. What should I do?" I'm like, "I don't know, give it to the ladies or whatever." I wasn't like paying attention to him too much, but he goes, "Okay," and he just throws it, and a lot of it's in change. He just throws it onto the stage where the girl's stripping, and like a dime or something rolls over in front of where the promoter is with Ronnie at their table, like, and lands right there. And she looks down and sees this dime right there, and she picks it up and she goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And she throws it at the promoter, and she's like, "You fucking think I'm that cheap? You fucking," like, she's just going off on him. And like, he's like, he doesn't know what happened because he doesn't know what she's even talking about. He's just
right. He's like, hey, not to seem super cheap, but I didn't even tip you, let alone tip you a dime.
Right? And like, the bouncers throw him out, and with Ronnie like leaving with him. And I noticed they just got a fresh pitcher too. So I was laughing like, oh my God, I have no, like, I've watched all this happen, even though I did not try to put it in motion at all. I just told the guy to, like, I don't give it to change to the women, because I knew there was over like $5 to $10 in change at the time.
Right. But you weren't thinking it was going to be coins, because
no, and I wasn't thinking
America.
He was gonna. I didn't think he was gonna throw the dime on there as well. I didn't know what he was gonna do. I figured I meant like keep the the big bills, or at least the big coins or whatever, give it to the women.
Yeah.
I was being vague, but I thought he would understand. He just took the handful of what it was and just tossed it on there, and like it all spread everywhere. And it caused so much chaos. But I noticed their pitcher of beer was like barely touched. So I'm like, all right, well, go grab that pitcher. So we downed both pitchers, and then we went out to meet them and tell them what happened. And the promoter was like, "That's so bizarre and so stupid that I can't be mad." Like, he was mad at first because he's getting kicked out, but then when he like heard how it all happened, he just like started laughing. He's like, "All right."
Oh my God.
You
think I'm this cheap? Look, let's not pretend this isn't something it's not.
He was so mad, like so pissed. Like a dime or a nickel or something. I don't know what it was, but it was a coin, and it rolled over there. She thought he gave it to her. It should have been in my pile of money that my friend threw on the table. Like, if it was all in a pile, it wouldn't look so bad. I mean, yeah, a dime is stupid, but if it was like there with a $5 bill and like a bunch of $1 quarters or whatever, you'd
it
wouldn't look so bad if it was all in a pile. But since it rolled over there by itself, she freaked out, man. Like, she was so mad.
Oh my God. A loony.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, a single loony comes over.
Loony or a
ding,
toonie.
and at that point, their fate was sealed.
It's one of those things where, like, I'm sitting there drinking, like, pouring myself a beer because he just brought the pitcher, and he throws all the money, and I see it all happen. It's like, oh shit! I don't even, like, it's just like, I can't stop it. Like, it felt like it was all in slow motion, but it was just something quick that I noticed as I was pouring myself.
Jay told
I didn't say a damn thing. I let them throw him out. I did not take claim to that dime at all.
Yeah, because you just said there like.
I didn't throw it on the table. Second, I didn't. I just like.
I'm not involved. I have no affiliation whatsoever.
And I like basically my friend who also is a wrestler that threw it on the table. It's like.
Oh, I don't know who did that. Oh.
And they got kicked out, and I just reached over to their table, grabbed their pitcher. Like, all right, we got 2 pitchers to chug, and they're going to be waiting for us out in the parking lot.
I paid for it. It's mine. Oh my god. Oh, Jay told this saying, and then in Thailand, you don't throw coins, you buy ping pong balls at the bar that you toss at the girls.
All right.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
down.
And then they like trade them in at the end of the night. Like, oh, okay, that's probably safer.
It's like how poker chips, right? You
Yeah,
trade 'em in,
yeah.
so that makes sense.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna deal with this cat. Hi, cat. You want out? There you go. The joys of pet ownership.
If I was gory, all the pets would be scratching to get in the door, but since she's out there, they're all happy.
Aw. Yeah. How many pets do you guys have?
2 dogs and a cat.
Oh,
And,
okay.
Well, here. I'll show
Do you have like?
Gory's tarantulas and jumping spiders. Got at least 4 jumping spiders and 3 tarantulas.
Oh my god. What did they eat?
Like cockroaches.
Oh,
Crickets,
I guess that makes
things
sense.
like that.
Huh. So you just like shake them in there and they just do their thing.
She just throws, yeah, she just puts one in at a time. They usually come out of a little burrow, grab it, pull it in. Sometimes they're not in their burrow and like the roach goes into their burrow. That makes them mad for some reason. They hate that. They like to pull it into the burrow themselves. If it gets in there, they'll like sometimes like they'll start stamping the ground like angrily with their little like hind feet or their front legs or whatever.
Get out of here.
Get out of there. What are you doing in my burrow? Well, tarantulas for the most part are pretty blind. Like they have the eyes or whatever, the 8 eyes, but they can barely see out of them. So
Oh wow.
they're feelers and stuff. So they don't kind of weird.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe they can tell something's there, but they can't not really well at that distance. And so they're just like, whatever it is, get out, get out, get out. I hate it.
Right? Like something unsettling about that, I guess, for them.
Yeah.
And then jumping spiders the opposite. They're like they can see better than us. They see colors that we don't see. And it's fun. Like if you like put a little jumping spider on your like hand or whatever, it like just stares at you with like, whoa, it's taking you all in. Like so like they really pay attention. Like I don't know what they think. The giant kaiju is holding me. This is weird, but I don't know.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I don't mind the spiders as long as she's getting the fuzzy ones because they seem like animals that way. I don't like the other type of spiders that are like
like the
xenomorphs.
orb spiders. They're just like,
yeah, like I don't want them in my house. Like I don't mind. I don't go. She can, if I see a giant web, an orb spider made outside, I'm not gonna mess with it. That's cool, but
you should see the movie Infested. That would.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it.
What'd you think?
Interesting. Like, I feel like guy that did Infested, I believe he's being offered to do an Evil Dead movie. Actually,
Yeah, I believe so.
yeah. So that might happen.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Infested is an arachnophobia-like movie, but it's French.
French arachnophobia.
French
basically,
arachnophobia movie. It's
where they
it's
sell
pretty
sneakers and like
yeah.
the sneaker like box like got ruined because a little bit of water dripped on it, and so he decided to put his most dangerous spider inside of it, and of course the wet box didn't hold it.
Yeah, you stay away from camel spiders. I don't blame you.
Oh yeah, they're not technically even spiders, but god damn.
But I mean, they're close enough for fear's sake,
Right, I get why they're named that. I have my cousin. He was over there during like desert whatever with the George Bush Jr. one where we killed Saddam.
Yeah.
And, he said the only time he ever like unloaded his firearm, like his handgun, was at a camel spider.
I don't blame him.
They chase you because they want your shade, right? If you stand still, they'll just stand in your shade and they'll be okay. But if you keep moving, they'll get agitated because you keep moving, so they'll try to bite you to like say stop moving.
Oh
like,
god, that mouth looks so nasty.
fangs are gnarly. Like
Yeah, you're like alien.
they don't bite you to eat or feed off you. They get annoyed because you're not standing still enough. Like it's like them trying to say, fucker, stand still. I want to stand in your shade. The sand is hot.
yeah, but still, all you see is this thing with these like crab claws for fucking mandibles. You're just like, and even
Like-
it's like that big.
It's like a face hugger without the tail. So,
Yeah, yeah, it is like a face hugger with that tail. You're just like, no, I know how this ends. You came over me.
Came over me. Yeah, like you just fuck that thing chasing after me. I'd shoot it too.
Yeah, yeah. Someone said like, yep, I saw a camel. Dude, I'm like fucking. Someone screams at a coconut crab. I get it, right? Like, it's like, no, no. I don't think of you as less of a man for screaming like a little girl at the sight of a camel spider or a coconut crab. That shit's
It startles
freaky.
you.
That shit is freaky looking.
Right? I don't want to be startled by anything, let alone something that looks like that. Like it's like, oh shit, I'm in a fucking like HP Lovecraft movie. All of a sudden, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like little elder things or something. Or there's going to be a big one around here somewhere. I don't want to be anywhere near that thing.
Cloverfield crap.
Oh my God. Yeah, you don't want to be. No. No way.
Ticks. Ticks was a great movie. Like the giant tick rips out of him at the end of the movie. Had Carlton from the Fresh Prince in it, but he's like a bully badass. I'm like, I didn't buy it. I couldn't buy it. Like, this is the tough kid. No, this is Carlton. What's new, pussycat? Whoa, whoa.
Oh my God.
Despite that, like, I'm glad that he's in it. It's funny. Same thing with Ted Raimi and Candyman, where he's got the leather jacket and he's like,
oh my God, I forgot that was Ted Raimi. You're right.
Ted Raimi, like, not saying he's not cool. It's just I'm not buying the whole.
What was that? There was a really weird ass movie that he was in, and I can't remember the title of, where he skins a black dude and wears him like a suit.
Thou Shall Not Kill Except, maybe?
No, it wasn't Thou Shall Not Kill Except, because this was a straight up like psycho slasher movie.
Huh.
It was even called something like, it wasn't Psycho, but it had like that kind of title.
Ah, okay.
You know, I think actually it might have been called Skinner. Let me see, like Ted Raimi.
Yeah.
Skinner. Yep. I was right. It was called Skinner.
Well, there you go. I don't know if I've seen Skinner. 93. Maybe I have.
It's weird. It's really weird. It's sort of like, it's kind of like
Ricky Lake.
Portrait of a serial. It's like what is it, like Portrait of a serial, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, but instead of a serial killer, he is a slasher that skins people alive.
Yeah, I have seen this now that I'm looking at it. Ricky Lake's in it.
Yeah, Ricky Lake's in it.
I'm vaguely remembering it. Like, I need to revisit this, obviously.
Yeah, and when you watch it, you're gonna wonder how you forgot it. You're gonna wonder how you forgot it, because you're gonna be sitting there like, how the fuck did I forget this scene? This is like the most off the wall and offensive thing I have ever seen. How did I forget it?
Probably because, let's see, I was born in 83, 93. I was probably 9 or 10 when I saw it, maybe a little older.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah,
but
I'm looking at this stuff here now, and I'm just like, memory unlocked. Like,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely off the wall. You know, it's kind of like Intruder that way. You're like, wait, how did I forget this movie? You know, especially Intruder. That bit at the end. I'm just crazy about this store. You know, how did I forget this?
It wasn't like super hard to figure out who did who it is in Intruder, but it's just so great. Like in the practical, like with Sam and Ted both getting killed in such hilarious ways, and then Bruce Campbell just showing up at the end as a cop.
Yeah, like, okay. hey, Sam, you said you needed me for your movie? Credits.
And Sam and Bruce are huge Three Stooges fans, so they like got this guy who had like a skit on one of their episodes where he's like, "Get lost, lovebirds," and they like put him in the whole movie just to say the same thing, because that's just how big of Three Stooges fans they are. They like found an obscure character from an episode that was still alive, made him repeat his line for their movie.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah, did Ted Raimi survive Candyman?
No,
Did he survive? I don't remember him. I don't remember him surviving. I remember him being in
that
it.
came out a year before Skinner, so he was going out at like trying to do some stuff there. Movies that his brother wasn't making, and just which he kept doing later on, but it never quite took off for him.
Yeah, yeah. He's not bad. It just didn't,
Oh,
just didn't seem to work. But I mean, like, hey, who could forget his role as the Romanian rapper in The Man with Two Brain? Or no, not the Man with the Screaming Brain.
Screaming Brain, yes. Man
Yeah,
with Two Brains was the
that was Steve Martin.
Steve Martin,
Yeah,
Steve Martin.
Man with Two Brains, Steve Martin. Screaming Brain was your hero and mine.
Yeah, I have the comic of that and the shirt. Man with Screaming Brain. I obviously have it on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever I have it on, but then I have like the comics and a shirt of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the premiere of that thing.
Nice.
Sweet.
Actually, I did too. Because it was like he was doing a tour for his book signing, his second book, and like if you paid extra, you got to watch the movie with him afterwards. So
Yep.
that's actually how I first saw it.
Yep. I first saw it because when he came to San Francisco, you could just pay to see the movie.
Ah, nice.
So that's what I did. So I saw Man
I
with
don't
the
know.
Screaming Brain.
You probably saw
started
it
and
first.
directed by Bruce Campbell. Yeah.
You might have saw it first. I mean, like I said, he was just doing a tour. He'd like rent these theaters out for his book signing, but then he'd do a Q&A afterwards, and then you could like watch the movie with him. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. It was something like that. I just remember I didn't get a book.
Yeah.
I either failed to get it or they didn't charge for that. I remember having to buy a ticket though.
I bought the book, the new one, because he would sign two things at the time. He'd sign the book you bought, but he'd also sign, if you did that, he'd also sign one thing of your own collection. So I got his other book signed, his first book, the Chins Could Kill book. Because it was during the tour of Make Love the Bruce Campbell Way, which is the second book. Which I recommend. I don't normally recommend audiobooks, but the production is so good. Like him and Ted do a lot of the voices, and like it's just hilarious. So they have all these sound effects. I do actually recommend listening to that one on audio. The first one, either way, like it's just about his life. I mean, if you want to hear his voice, cool. But otherwise, just read it. But I definitely recommend the audiobook of Bruce Campbell, Make Love the Bruce Campbell Way, because like they make a whole show of it. It's like a radio show. It's great.
Yeah. Oh God. There's this one audiobook of Scanner Darkly that was read by I'm spacing on his name. He is in a lot of stuff. He played Harvey Picar in the American Splendor movie. He was in John Dies at the End.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm spacing on his name, but he did the voice acting for Scanner Darkly, and it's fucking amazing. And now that means nothing because I can't remember the actor's name. He was also in Shoot 'Em Up. Hold on. If I look up Shoot 'Em Up, IMDb, he'll be there. Shoot 'Em Up. Paul Giamatti. It's Paul Giamatti.
Oh yeah.
Paul Giamatti was reading Scanner Darkly, and it's amazing. Particularly the moment where it's like, and when he sat there dying, a creature from the 8th dimension read off all of his sins. 1,000 years later, they got to the age of 13, where he had discovered masturbation.
I've written a bunch of screenplays, mostly my own stuff, but I did write a screenplay. Like I should probably brush it up, whatnot. But I did one on The Purge, and I just wanted Paul Giamatti to play the main character. It was it would have been like a Purge script, but I wanted him to be the main character.
Nice. Oh my God. Someone does not make announcements ever? What are you talking about? I announced it on Twitter. I announced it on Blue Sky.
Have you seen his I guess 2023 the Holdovers with Paul Giamatti?
No, I haven't.
It's like a really weird movie. Like it feels like it really was made in the 70s, like the way they made it and just everything about it. Like feels like it's like the
Hmm.
70s, 60s, or whatever it's supposed to take place in. And it's just like about this, rich kind of boarding school, but like a couple kids get stuck with him he's like this really mean teacher, but they're like stuck with him during like Thanksgiving and stuff. Like they didn't get to go home for whatever reason, but they ended up like kind of bonding with him. But a lot of weird shit happens. It's not a horror movie or anything like that. It's just a good Paul Giamatti movie. Like it's
Oh,
definitely
okay.
quirky. It's like quirky. It's I believe it was rated R. It's like a comedy drama, but it was actually just really good. Like,
Let's see. A curmudgeonly instructor at New England school remains on campus during Christmas break. He soon forms an unlikely bond with a brainy but damaged troublemaker, and with the school's cook, a woman who just lost a son in the Vietnam War. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
But it was just like, wow, this is like, it felt like if you like The Graduate or anything kind of like that, like it just felt like it was made in that same era and it's just as well done. It's like,
Oh, okay.
oh, one of those non-horror things that I would recommend.
Yeah.
Horror.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, I like Paul Giamatti a lot, so I'll probably check that out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we've been yammering on for 2 hours. We should probably pack it in for the night. I'm feeling a little peaked. I still haven't entirely recovered from last night. I'm at that age where like sleeping for 12, getting 12 hours of sleep just ain't enough. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, kids don't get old, or
Right.
don't get old if you can help it, like well, I want to thank you for coming down and hanging out, Danny. It's been a pleasure. It's been too long.
It has been. So
Yeah.
we gotta do this more often.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to let's see. Monsterpalooza and Crypticon are on different weekends, right? Or are they the same weekend?
Crypticon's in May, usually.
Yeah, I think, let me see. Monsterpalooza 2025.
Usually it's the same weekend as Texas Frightmare. Not this year, from what I understand, but usually Crypticon is the same weekend.
Right. Okay, Monsterpalooza is May 30th. When's Crypticon? Is that also May 30th?
I would say probably not. Let's find out. Crypticon.
On Seattle.
May
2nd. Oh,
so
it's
about a month away.
Yeah, a month apart. Okay.
About.
I will. Whew. All right, I'm gonna have to see what I can do.
We finally have a second horror convention up here in Washington. We went to it like just a week ago. Elvira's Horror Con, Washington State Horror Con.
Really?
I got to meet David Arquette. I just basically talked to him about wrestling the whole time I met him. So.
Oh my God.
Have you seen his documentary, You Can't Kill David Arquette?
No, I haven't. Is it any good?
It's amazing. Check it out. You know how in the late or the early 2000, I believe it was the year 2000, maybe 2001, but I think 2000, he won the WCW heavyweight title in the world, right? WCW put the title on him, like, because he was in their Ready to Rumble movie that they had.
Okay.
And it got a lot of backlash. Like, how dare you put your world title on this actor? He didn't beat a wrestler for it. He beat like somebody else, Eric Bischoff or somebody like that.
Right.
But and like Vince Russo put the belt on himself, which I would say is even worse. But I admit it was a shitty decision to do that. However, he was like in real life, he's a huge wrestling fan and he didn't want the belt. He thought it was like a weird idea. He just, okay, whatever, I'm not gonna say no. Like how George Clooney said about Batman and Robin, like, you're gonna turn down the role of Batman? No. Like, was I the best fit? Probably not, but I'm not gonna turn it down. So it's how David Arquette kind of felt. He's like, I don't get it, but okay, put the belt on me, whatever. Like, they convinced him that it was a good idea, but like a lot of wrestling fans hated him for that. Like they've like, oh man, you shouldn't have never been champion and blah blah blah. And so he like makes this documentary. He's like, all right, I know I'm way up there in age, but I'm gonna become a legit wrestler. Like I'm gonna start from the bottom. So because he's at a convention and like people are giving him shit about being world champion, but he finds out like there's other wrestlers there. It's a wrestling convention, so he's
Right.
like, and like this guy's like, well, hey man, I'm on the bottom. Like I'm going to a backyard show this weekend. You want to go? And he's like, he said it as a joke, but Dave Arquette's like, yes, I do. I want to go. He's like, all right, these kids aren't like super like I know enough. Like I've trained them myself. I've worked with them, but they're not gonna like they're gonna just break glass over you all night. That's all they're gonna do. And he's like, sign me up. And he's like, he shows up. They smash him with light bulbs and throw him on thumbtacks and all that shit. And then he like goes on to call Diamond Dallas Page. He's like, I'm just getting into the business. I wanted to start from the very bottom, so I did some backyard shit. What can you do for me now? And he's like, I know some people in Mexico. He sends him to Mexico, and like they're teaching him in the ring to do all the flips, all the bumps, and he's like panting and doing his best that he can to just keep up and wearing a mask. And they're like, all right, before you can do an official show, you got to go out there and help earn some money for the show. And like, so they take him to a highway where like this giant intersection, like a big four-way intersection, and like, when the lights are red, you get hit with a chair, you do a flip, you do a clothesline, you take a bump on the concrete right there, and then you run and you get money. And that's what he does. They do it, and they're like doing lucha libre on the highway during red lights, and then they run by before the lights turn green with like these bags, and people are tipping them, like throwing money into the like bags, like because they just showed them some lucha libre for free while the light was red. It's so weird. But then he gets to do a real lucha show, and he gets to like do all this other stuff, and then he like gets booked on small indie feds here in America, and he's like, but he almost gets killed too, and like he has Luke Perry with him when this guy
Oh my God.
shanks him with a light bulb on accident, like he breaks it over his head, right? But then the tube goes into his neck after he breaks it on him, and like when he pulls it out, David Arquette just like grabs it, and like this blood is gushing, and he starts to leave, like he starts to just get out of the ring and leave, but then he like out of nowhere kind of goes back, and he just like basically the guy hits him one more time, he falls down, and the guy pins him, but he's holding his neck like the whole time because he knows that he'll bleed out and die. So the guy, like, but he finishes the match 1, 2, 3, and then Luke Perry rushes him to the ER where he gets a bunch of stitches. He has a scar in his neck now.
Oh, jeez.
And so he like wrestles for like some bigger companies and stuff. He's even like appeared in AEW where they do like this Hey AEW, which is like a backstage interview thing. But he's now like won me over as a wrestler. Like I was never like mad at him like a lot of people were, but I was like, dude, this totally won my respect as someone who's been doing it for 20 years, and I've done a lot of hardcore, I've done a lot of lucha like kind of type of matches and stuff.
Right.
I've done a lot of styles, and I just like, all right, man, yeah. And so when I got to talk to him, I'm like, dude, I was so happy that you're actually champion. You did it backwards, but who cares? Like,
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean,
retro aspect, you have gone back and you have earned it now. So good for you,
man. It's. Well, that's really cool. It was weird. Not gonna lie, it was weird.
very weird.
All
We
right.
also talked to him about Buffy and like, you're floating, and he's like, yeah, Luke Perry, because sadly Luke Perry's passed away. His son's a pro wrestler now in AEW too, Jack Perry, and he looks just like him except for he's got his mom's afro hair. His mom has like this big bushy afro hair, so he's got that, but he looks otherwise just like Luke Perry.
Oh my
But
God.
David Arquette, and he was telling me like when they made the Buffy movies, like him and Luke Perry were living together and stuff, just becoming stars at the time. Like
Yeah, because because before that, all Luke Perry had been in was like 90210.
yeah, and it made him a huge star. He became a household name because of that show, but he was just starting to rise. Unfortunately, the movie career never really reached high pinnacle. Like a lot of people thought he had way more potential than he ever reached.
Oh yeah, I would agree. Particularly later.
Yeah.
I think he would have had like a much more illustrious career later on if he had, lived.
Yeah.
That was the part that was like really sad, which was like he was starting to come up again because of
Yes, Flashman. That is his that's his son.
yeah. Yeah, like he was starting to come up again because of his work in Riverdale.
Mhm.
Because it was so unlike anything, despite the fact that it was still like TV teen drama. His role was unlike anything he had done before, and he was getting a lot of attention that way. And it looked like that was actually going to translate into a few things, and then, lights out.
Right.
Oof. Like who knows? So you never know what's You never know what's going to happen.
I also met Christy Swanson there, the OG Buffy.
Oh yeah.
And Haley Gory was super excited about that because she's Buffy obsessed. So she was really nice to her, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
We also met Devin Sawa as well. He was also super cool. So
yeah, well, I should try to hook up with you guys for Crypticon this year.
Definitely,
this upcoming
man.
year.
Come on up for that.
Yeah, that'll probably be a little bit easy. Do you guys drive to and from that show every day? Because I know it's relatively in your area.
It's about 2.5, 3 hours away, depending on traffic.
Okay.
But we always just get a hotel there.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we could go in on that or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Something like that.
Well, we'll talk about that particular. Definitely, probably closer to just after the new year, because there's going to be so much other stuff that's happening because of the holidays. And thank you for coming on the show again. And I want to say thank you to everyone else for coming. I really appreciate it. I will see you all again on Monday, when we will hopefully have another guest. And until then, Ave Satanas, Disco Inferno, and remember, Satan and I love you all very much. And don't forget to wipe your ass. Good night.